We're starting out this beautiful morning here in Lake Elkhart, Wisconsin, near where my dad was born, my extended family was. I feel like I'm home. Oddly enough, this place seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, and it really is. It takes about an hour to get here from any airport whatsoever, plus a good little drive, but it is home of Road America.
Oh, random finding you here.
Oh, well, yeah, do you come here often?
You couldn't be honest. You couldn't be honest. You couldn't be.
Well, the background noise gives you a little bit of change of scenery just by hearing it. These cars are already going nuts. It's before 9 a.m. and we're at Road America. This video is made in partnership with Pennzoil, and as you can tell, I'm a huge supporter of them. Their product works phenomenally in all of my cars. They all use the same oil found in the Hellcats, as well as Ferrari, the 040 Ultra Platinum. You can find it online at Amazon and Walmart.com, but you can also find it inside every single one of my cars. As you know, the 3-rotor runs on it and has done so phenomenally for quite a few years now. The Diablo, and even the Insight, the most powerful vehicle I have, pushing out about 60 horsepower at the crank. Now, sadly, that doesn't use the 040, it uses 020. Back to the video.
Okay, I guess I get my own row.
David.
Pleasure.
Hi guys, welcome to Road America.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
Pleasure.
Yes.
Charles.
Hello. How you doing? Pretty cool toy for you guys. It is completely. If I would put this thing on the street, I tell you, it would be awesome. So basically, these cars are Acura engine and Acura. It's a twin turbo. In fact, believe it or not, this is MDX engine. I mean, exactly. We have twin turbo, which makes the car, the power goes even more. We actually can achieve this type of power if you actually cranking up about a 750 horsepower. It's badass. You can see the oil aerodynamics, all parts, and if you come over with me here, you can check it out a little bit of space. While you guys have the computer, you know, the camera, we have the steering wheel, and that's our computer. So basically, that's why we play the game. Talking about outside the car, you are competing out there with two other series. They have the GTLM and GTD, meaning if you see the Corvettes, the Porsches, that's GTD, and if you GTLM, if you see the Lamborghini, Audis, that's GTD. They have about 6 seconds, 4 to 6 seconds difference between our cars and those cars. So now when we're driving with them, we're racing with them, but they are racing their own series. It's about 400 pounds heavier than an Indy car. But approaching speed, same. Yeah. We're about actually a little bit faster than Indy car approaching speed. But when you count the corner, you got to slow down. For example, turn 1. We do in Indy car 4th gear. Here we got to go to 3rd gear. So the approaching speed is the same, but the cornering is a little slower.
This is one of the coolest, most random things I get to do, is just experience professional motorsports in a way that I'm not supposed to. You know, all the stuff I do is all like ragtag and just me, but these are professional teams and they do some crazy shit. So what you see behind me is Elio Castronova's vehicle on this side, but his partner, the other vehicle, both side by side, both the Acuras. What's crazy, at 200 miles an hour, these things produce about 5,000 pounds of downforce. So way more than the car weighs. The car's about a 2,000 pound car, and you got about 5,000 pounds of downforce. So looking at these things, this is what you see even the Mazda guys, you know, the new version of what would be the 787B, which is not rotary nowadays, it's still piston engine. This is what the rotary engine has turned into, a piston engine. Sadly, that's better than what the old rotaries used to do. These are the prototype vehicles. You get to see a lot of the manufacturer's new stuff being tested out here.
Bill's Gray's our liaison with Team Ray Hall.
Nice to meet you. You can imagine. Here, come on in. Let's go.
No, my father was product strategist.
Oh, okay. All right. Come on in, guys. Because obviously this is one of BMW's most important engineering exercises, if you will. The cars you see here are effectively the same cars that race at Le Mans. We race in GTLM, which is a IMSA only class, but all the cars are built to Le Mans specs. Everybody says it, but it's about as competitive as it gets in sports car racing in the GTE class. Come on up this way. So, like I said, engineering exercise. This is about as serious as it gets. Hey, look what we found. These gentlemen, and I use the term loosely, are 3/4 of our driver contingent. Come on in, guys. This is Jesse Crone, Alexander Sims, Connor, and Felipe, and we're missing Mr. Edwards.
So the GTD cars here, we've got a Turner BMW M6, and that's the same car as we drove at Spa, basically.
So it's M6.
Yeah, M6. They're typically between, so I'd say 1250 kilos and 1300, about 550 horsepower, something like that. Okay. It changes depending on the series.
Well, let's get out of here and go see some other guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
These guys
Nice
have
to
work
meet
to
you
do.
guys.
Enjoy.
So I generally like to focus more on the cockpit because that's the only thing that I know about. When people come to me with technical questions, I generally just refer them to someone else. But you know, only Kyle's in the cockpit. Actually, you can see they're doing some. What are you doing there, Kyle? What are we doing?
Testing your steering wheel, man.
One of my favorite features compared to the old wheels is we used to have the plus minus for traction control, but now it's just on these thumb wheels. So while you're driving, if the traction control, if I come out of a corner and traction control is kicking a little too much, I can just scroll right with my thumb on the slip knob, or I can increase the TC or decrease the TC on the left side. This radio and the window net.
Well, we look into the regulations first of all. We choose an engine from production and modify it. So I would say roughly 50-60% is different.
And what are you looking for in oil when you're tearing one of these motors down? What to you says this is working, or you know we're going to use lighter oil, or what
First of all, we do a power comparison to see what is an efficiency. We do an endurance test. If we are fine with the oil analyzers and the power, then we do an endurance run to see, okay, it lasts all time and all the requested endurance run. Normally we go roughly about 60 hours.
Non-stop.
Have any of you been to Elkhart before? No. This is the best racetrack in the country in road racing. I've been coming here since I was probably 6 years old, maybe. So it's almost 60 years, 59 years. And my dad used to race up here, you know, and he was an amateur racer, SECA racer. So we lived in Chicago, so There were two big races back in the 60s. It was the June Sprints, which was the amateur race, big amateur weekend, and then the Road America 500, which was a 6-hour, in those days it was 6 hours. Sports car race, endurance race, they were both huge. Some of those days were crazy because the June Sprints was the first weekend after all the colleges let out, and so everybody could come here. And the 500 was the first weekend before all the colleges went back. So everybody, you know, and they'd get 20,000 people in little downtown Elkhart Lake, which is tiny. And it was, I was too young to experience the parties, but I could see it. 4 miles long. This thing's got really fast corners, really slow corners, medium speed corners. It's really long straightaways. It's really got it all. And I think this has probably one of the corners that separates the men from the boys in racing. It's the kink back in turn 11, which in an Indy car is flat out about 180 mile an hour corner. And when you go into it, you're staring at a concrete wall. So it really, like I said, it separates the men from the boys.
That's good. Huh. Did I not close my door all the way? Interesting. Yeah, that's not terrifying at all. You guys get to witness that. Housekeeping must have came in and left my door unlocked. I was just fucking around making like a scary movie intro with the hallway because it's kind of weirdly colored and everything. And my door was unlocked, wide open. Mostly open. And my bed's made. I never make my bed, so I know it's not me. So if there's any ghosts in here, it's your boy Rob. We're cool. Oh dear God.